Hey, Brian. Look, this is just more of Washington liberal elites. This is Nancy Pelosi, Joe Donnelly, Schumer, the rest, who think that the fruit of your labor, your property, your money is really theirs. And they need a lot of it to run their terrible liberal ideas. So Trump voters ought to use crumbs as the rallying cry. President Trump did a great thing with these tax cuts that are putting, money back in the pockets for thousands of Hoosiers. We ought to use crumbs as the rallying cry, the deplorables, right, of 2018 to come to the polls this midterm election and get the job done. Get Trump allies.
And this Crumbs Act is going to, if it goes through, it will allow those bonuses that people are getting to go tax-free, right, for this year?
Yeah, that's right. That's what the Crumbs Act does. Quite simply, it says, that in 2018, when you get a bonus because of the Trump tax cuts, they ought to be tax-free, too. What a great way to get back at Nancy Pelosi than to enlist the Crumbs Act to get the job done.
Congressman, I do know you're breaking from the president when it came to the 2-year spending bill. You felt there was too much spending. You couldn't vote for it. That was a big debate with you guys as you try to get that Republican nomination, right?
Well, look, even the president said, hey, he had to sign it. It's what Congress gave him. It's a false choice, and the president agrees that, we can fund our troops and not put debt on our kids. What Congress didn't do, what politicians don't do, is make the hard choices. They want to give troops a raise. Absolutely. We voted for that the week before this bill came up. But then they won't cut spending elsewhere, and that's where we need real leadership in Washington. The president had to sign what we gave him, and we gave him a real pile in that bill.
When it comes to immigration, do you believe that the House is going to pass some version of the Goodlatte bill?
Well, I hope so. I hope we get the votes there. I'm certainly a co-sponsor.
You don't have them yet, though, right?
Well, we're getting there. We're whipping as hard as we can to get there. Amnesty does not belong in the discussion. We're either a country of laws, Brian, or we're not, and you shouldn't ignore the law. And there's a reasonable punishment for the crime committed in the Goodlatte bill. Very reasonable, gives people permanent renewable statuses to get the job done. And that's the way we should go, certainly with any kind of DACA deal.
Right. So you actually went to the right of the president. He does not want to. He wants to say give the people who came here as kids, the so-called dreamer, it's 1.8 million. He wants to give them a path to citizenship. You guys don't even want that.
Well, it's not that we don't want to solve the problem. It's just that, hey, for $1,000 they can renew their application and be here continuously, and so that is a solution. But what you don't want to do is just immediately make citizens several million people because that's corrosive to our American exceptionalism. We're either a country of laws or we're not. So I actually think we're on the same page as the president. I think he'd take our deal in a minute.
Right, but it's never going to get to him because the Senate can't even agree on the two of the...
The problem, exactly, Brian. The problem is the Senate. You have Joe Donnelly in the Senate that's working against him. You have Rhino Republicans that I'm running against. We have got to send true leadership, real conservatives to the Senate.
Congressman, lastly, you're going to try to be the senator from Indiana, but leaving a seat available behind you. How concerned are you for the House with about 30 retirements or switches?
I think a lot of that's natural. If you look at the numbers, we're not too far off what the historical trend is. So I think we're going to be fine. My seat's going to be good. We've got excellent people running for it. And I think these tax cuts, as more Hoosiers, more Americans see that more of their property is being returned to them, they're going to see that Republicans are the true party, the real leadership.
Congressman Todd Rokita with the Crumbs Act, trying to get those bonuses tax-free. We'll see where it goes. Thanks so much for joining us.
You bet, Brian. Thanks.